Baldur's Gate 3 just got a ton of new information. We also got to talk about some data mine leaks, as well as the official release of the PC Gamer magazines. We have an article on the controversy of Playstyle. We also have some early level PSAs to get you ready for launch, and even a dev Q&A happening later today. We got a lot to talk about. What's up, world? Straight back in another video, and we're checking out all things Baldur's Gate 3. So PC Gamer actually did release all of those magazines now, or at least all 4 official covers have been showcased. Now they are on sale, however I don't know exactly when they'll get to you guys. There's no sort of delivery date or if you're able to buy it in stores. I think it's primarily a subscription service. However, if you have like a Barnes & Noble by you or maybe a local store for books, you might be able to find the PC Gaming magazine there. However, I'm not sure if you'll be able to find this issue exactly. Regardless, all those collective covers are out in the wild now. We do have to jump into that controversial article, or at least talking about the way people are playing the game or the playstyle of people. And there was an article on the power gamers, or basically people that min-max their stuff. There's an article here that says, "Hey D&D gamers, I promise you'll have more fun if you don't min-max in Baldur's Gate 3. Now there's a few things that they go over here, like the narrative and the difficulty, as well as the roles. And from my understanding with going through this article, as well as watching some of the sort of other D&D players on this, 5th edition is a little bit more forgiving when it comes to things, and it's a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more casual overall. And at least from what I read up on 5th edition of D&D, min-maxing is less apparent in the 5th edition, so you can't min-max as much anyways, and you probably won't need to for difficulty reasons. Now, I did hear that the hardest difficulty of Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be incredibly difficult, or at least that's what the assumption is. So I still think that people that want a challenge, they're still definitely going to have a challenge there. And honestly, play this game how you want. If you want to go back and reload your save and go back through dialogue options, or re-rolls, or if you just want to play through perfectly, or if you want to min-max your gear, or if you want to just RP, play how you want. That's why in my build guide for Wizard, I included the RP abilities. And even I'm going to take them because they're fun, and I think that, if anything, if you want that type of stuff, kind of enhances your gameplay. Also, like a post here says, if you're playing a Wizard, don't worry about reloading saves. Because technically, you could say that you're looking into different realities as a Wizard, and it is kind of a cool RP aspect. So if you want to play however you want, just play the game and have fun. Honestly, from what I played from BG3, it just seems like a fun game. Kind of do what you want. If you want to mod the game, or if you want to play it standalone, I know for myself, I'm just going to go through it as a standalone version, probably not do any crazy mods, maybe just cosmetic. But like my first playthrough, I'm just going to play the game and have fun with it. And Act 1 for me was already incredible. I enjoyed every minute of it. You have to jump into those data mine section stuff and some PSA stuff that you could miss early on. Now this is spoiler territory, so if you want to skip ahead like a minute or two. But we'll jump into the early stuff, and essentially right when you meet Asterion, there's a cave in the background and you can kind of jump to it, and there's a chest with a gem that's worth 1,600 gold. This is a ton early game. And as someone said here, you can even barter it with shops to keep for free and steal it back. That's the best way to make them like you and give you better prices. You can kind of constantly do this back and forth thing to kind of game the system. Again, if you want to min-max like that, just have fun with it. Thought that was pretty cool and definitely really useful for a playthrough if you want to kind of min-max and get a lot of gold. Now from the actual data mining, we have the looks of the antagonists and what their final looks will be. So we have the comparisons of the old patches versus what the final release might look like. And yeah, you can definitely tell the major amounts of details and improvements that have gone into some of these characters. A lot more details in the skin textures as well as their outfits, and just much more character and less uncanny. So definitely some major improvements there with that. And also just another fair warning on spoiler stuff here, although if you're at this part you probably don't care. We had the narrator for Baldur's Gate. They actually have been uploading some outtakes that they've done recently. And they have multiple parts here with part 1 and now part 2 being released. You can go through here. I think for the most part people have said there isn't a lot of spoiler stuff in here. However, there definitely could be, and most of the part they're just outtakes. I heard there's some funny parts. If you want to check it out, I'll have a link down below to her video. It's kind of cool to see a voice actor put out like their outtakes and things from the game. Something definitely different aside from the norm. So it's definitely worth a look at and check out if you're into that type of stuff. Now we do actually have a dev Q&A happening, and that's alongside with CoCarnage. So CoCarnage put out a tweet here saying tomorrow at 1 PM ET, which is today, July 23rd, or depending on where you live and time zone, it could be the next day, we'll be interviewing the amazing Lar at Larian of Baldur's Gate. which he is actually the CEO and founder of Larian Studios. And he finished up here saying, and I would love to know your questions about the gameplay. Hit me here with your cues that haven't been covered in the panels or other interviews. He also went on to say, and yes, we'll already be asking if the ability to talk to animals means we can talk to Boo. He'll also be there with It Me, JP, and Ezekiel. Again, that's happening today, 7/23 or July 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, and then 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And also, Cold Carnage did follow up with an update saying that we will be using the Reddit post as well. And I believe they mean this Reddit post, so I'm going to include that down below. If you don't want to use Twitter, if you want to go to Reddit, then I'm going to include that link as well. I have both of them down below to the Cold Carnage tweet, so you can ask your questions there. Remember, don't post your questions on my channel if you have them, unless you want to ask me. But for this in particular, post them on either his Twitter under his little section there, or in the reply, and then also I'll have that Reddit link down below that you can ask it there as well if you want. As I also mentioned, I did do that Wizard build guide. Now I will be doing an updated build guide on August 2nd, a day before release. This is because there's a few things that were mentioned in my comments that need to be fixed and changed. I also want to see if there's going to be any patch notes, and I want to be able to update my build further. Although it probably will be close to the same, and hopefully I'm going to have it a little bit shorter. I know a 20-minute build guide might be a little much to some, although some of the guides that I was watching to help me kickstart were over an hour long. So yeah, there's just a lot to talk about with this game. I kind of like that there's so much diversity in things with the builds. That's really a lot different from Diablo 4. And also pertaining to that, we had a question here that I'm interested in, which says, can wizards craft scrolls? Which there is going to be a new crafting system that is with the final release. Someone said here, but as far as I know, there is no spell scrolls on that list. And apparently in the official version of 5e for D&D, scroll scripting actually takes a ridiculous amount of time. Now this game is really following the rules of that and all the D&D stuff for the structure. So yeah, if you were to craft scrolls, apparently it would take a ton of time and resources. So probably not going to be in there and probably not even really worth to do. Also, if you do want to play any of the older Baldur's Gates to get caught up, apparently right now Baldur's Gate 2 is actually free on Prime Gaming, and Baldur's Gate 1 is currently $6 on the Epic Game Store. Normally I guess it was 20 bucks, so it's on sale for 14 off. I've heard some pretty good things about the older Baldur Gates, so they're probably definitely worth checking out, especially for free. It is also crazy that there's only 10 days left till this game comes out. I'm pretty excited for all the things to come, especially if they're playing early access and it being such a relief from Diablo 4. Again, if you're playing Wizard, be sure to check out that Wizard guide. Although I am, again, going to have that updated one on August 2nd, so look out for that one too. Also, let me know what classes that you guys are deciding to play, whether it's a multi-class or just staying one. I might even run a poll on that just to check out and see other classes. Maybe I'll even check out a different class, as well as do one of my many build guides on it. But that's it about covered for today's video. If you like it, and subscribe, and until the next one. Deuces.